Louis and Zelie Martin, the parents of Saint Therese of Lisieux, also known as the Little Flower, will on October 18th, 2015, Mission Sunday, become the first spouses to be canonized as a couple in the history of the Church. That is, ever since the Church instituted formal legal proceedings for canonization, they are the first to be canonized as a couple. Louis and Zelie are the first spouses to be canonized as a couple, and that makes them very significant for the Church because the Church is recognizing a concrete example of holiness in the married state. A cardinal who spoke about them said they achieved holiness not in spite of marriage, but in, through, and by marriage. When I was a young girl, no one ever actually told me that my odds for getting canonized would drop if I got married, but I definitely was left with the impression that it was a long shot. The very few people who've ever been canonized who've been married often were widows or widowers or became nuns after the death of their husband or things like that. And there's such a great need for role models, married saints, canonized saints, recognized, held up to be imitated, because marriage is the way that most people are called to reach the common goal of all Christians, sainthood. Each of them had thought they were called to the religious life, but when they found out differently, they really grew into the vocation of marriage and embraced it fully. I was at their beatification in the basilica dedicated to their daughter in Lisieux in 2008, and I heard the apostolic letter proclaimed, and it said, Louis Martin and Zelie Guerin, laypersons, spouses, and parents. Their holiness shone through every aspect of their lives. They loved each other very much and could not bear to be apart. They were very gifted and caring parents and really studied each child's individual needs and did their best to meet both their spiritual needs and their needs for art lessons and special treatment like that. They were very good neighbors. They never waited, either for a priest or for anyone else, to tell them what needed to be done. But when they saw a need, they acted. When Louis went out, he would carry a pocket full of change to give alms to anyone who begged for him. If he saw an intoxicated man lying in the street, he would help him get home, and then he'd go to his house the next day and you have a conversation with him about not getting drunk anymore. Zelie was a very kind mistress to her servants. Many of them got sick. They were often young country girls without much training, but she would keep them out of love and try to teach them how to do better work. And when they got sick, she took care of them. Sometimes she took care of their relatives too.
We can be saints. Like the Second Vatican Council said, it's the vocation from every Christian to be saint. Every people has to be saint. And with Louis and Zelie Martin, we see it now. It's possible. It's really, in the normal life, as a family, with the work, you can live, you can learn to live with God, and you can learn to be saint. And your husband or your wife is helping you in this way to be saint. In Alençon we have the big grace that we have a little shrine, but it's the shrine where the family lives, because now they will canonize together as a couple, and they married in Alençon. They met them. They married in the church in Alençon, now the Basilica of Alençon, Notre Dame. Then they also received the children, and they lived there, they worked. It was the everyday life, but in Alençon. And in our shrine, we have to restore the house where they lived together, and as a family, where also Saint Therese, the last child, was born. And it's really our first mission, our first desire to help the families through the example from Louis and Zelie. When you see where they live, then you can also engage you to the way of the sanctity.